Okay, now it's my pleasure to introduce Alex Lasa from the Key Clubhouse of South Florida.
I have to be quite honest with you. I was somewhat nervous about sharing my story today, but I spoke to Seth, and he reminded me, he's from New York, he reminded me that I'm amongst friends. And I have to say, thank you. I'd have to say even more than friends. This is like family. Clubhouses are like family. I know mine has definitely been a family to me. My name is Alex, and due to generational trauma and lack of support, I have struggled with mental illness for many years. Because of this affliction, I have had a challenging time reaching my goals. Two of these goals have always been higher education and financial independence. In my early 20s, while pursuing an engineering degree at the University of Miami, I began suffering from delusions, and I had a psychotic break. I did not understand what was happening, but I remember feeling isolated, paranoid, and I came very close a couple of times of taking my own life. During my initial crisis, I was afraid. I did not know what to do. I was depressed, suicidal, but somehow I got through that episode. My professors and counselors did not pick up on what was happening. Quite honestly, they seemed oblivious to my situation. And I remember one advisor lecturing me, saying that I needed to get my life together. She then rushed me out of her office, never once asking or stopping to ask how I was doing. I never saw or heard from her again. There seemed to be no awareness back at that time, and people like me were falling through the cracks. The world seemed like a very cruel and uncaring place. Eventually, I lost my job and financial aid and had to drop out of school. I was a mess, and my parents didn't know what to do. My grandparents took me in, and I spent days, if not months, in bed, too terrified to face the real world. Months went by, even a year, but eventually, my passion for the arts and my grandparents' support started to make a difference. I found work and managed to hold a job for about a year, and it was still too much. I ended up having to quit. For many years after, I did not want to accept that I had a mental illness. I was a high-functioning individual, and yet I could not understand why it was so difficult for me to keep it together. I would watch my peers accomplish their goals and thrive in their careers and relationships, and often wondered, why not me? I found it difficult to talk about what I was feeling, but eventually found the courage to discuss things with my doctors. Their solution was usually more psychotherapy and pills. It took years to finally get a diagnosis, and even longer to find a program that offered some type of psychosocial component. I began a treatment plan for my bipolar disorder, and by the time COVID came around, mental health awareness had become somewhat mainstream. My family did what most families do nowadays. They turned to the internet. By chance, this is when my sister came across something that would eventually change my life. That is when we first learned about clubhouses. I joined the Key Clubhouse of South Florida in October of 2015. It's hard to believe, but I've now been a member for almost 10 years. Thank you. Thank you very much. When I first toured the facility, I felt a sense of belonging right away. It was the first time I had been in a place where others were facing similar challenges. Back in the early 90s, I felt like a failure, ashamed, and so alone. I could not talk about my situation. School administrators and employers just did not understand, and I did not feel like I had the support I needed. At the clubhouse, there were others like me. In fact, the whole clubhouse model was based on people just like me. After some time, I knew that it would make all the difference in my recovery. With the Key Clubhouse support, I have been able to turn my life around. They have given me a sense of structure, moral support, and life-changing resources, which have resulted in employment and my financial independence. Through the Clubhouse Transitional Employment Program, or as they say, TE, I was able to secure a customer service position with the Career Source of South Florida. For the first 6 months, the clubhouse assured the employer my shift would always be covered. Upon completing the trial period, I ended up transitioning into a supported employment position, and eventually, that supported position led to my current independent job with the Miami-Dade County Public Library System, where I now benefit from a flexible schedule, investment plan, and future pension benefits. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just to hear myself say those words, I have a job, I have an investment plan, pension benefits, wow. I have really come a long way. Thank you. Building on the recovery through work principle, I have now been able to consolidate my life and assets. Work requires discipline, and in the beginning, the clubhouse offered me that structure without the pressure. It was a good place to get my feet wet and build up stamina. I chose to participate in the communications unit. Every morning, I would anticipate working on the newscast. I would start at 9:30 in the morning, and I would shoot video and edit all day long. Back then, we were pumping out 3 to 4 newscasts a week. I was putting in 8-hour days for weeks at a time. It made me feel productive, and it gave me focus. Thanks to that focus and the Key Clubhouse, I'm proud to tell you all that I now have my own apartment, reliable transportation, and even a loving woman to share my life with. Thank you. Thank you. It has certainly paid off. I cannot say the last 9 years have been smooth sailing. Since becoming a member, I have faced several challenges, both personal and professional. But one thing that I can say now is that the clubhouse has been there through it all. They are on a mission to help people with mental illness succeed. And I'm winning the battle with mental illness right now. But I know that the battles are far from over. Occasionally, when I doubt myself, I am often reminded that once a member, always a member. And it gives me a sense of peace knowing that I will always have a place where I can regroup and start over again if I need to, or simply a sounding board if I need one. I hope I have given you a glimpse into what people with mental illness can accomplish when given the right tools. Recovery through work, peer support, and affordable housing are all part of the solution. The clubhouse model works, but you as an individual must do your part. It has been a win-win for me, and at this point, thanks to a Key Clubhouse referral, I am now in the process of completing a Bachelor of Science degree in multimedia productions at Florida International University's Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media. Well, I'd like to give Clubhouse International my thanks for giving me this platform, for giving us a voice, for giving us all hope, support, and ultimately a second chance at a meaningful, productive life. It has been an honor to speak to you today. Thank you for all your hard work, for the work you do every day. God bless you, and thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope we have a wonderful seminar together.